Peaceful Army.
Peaceful Army.
Welcome to the podcast of the Peaceful Army.
What? Really?
And I'm not sorry.
What does it mean?
Oh my god!
Greta's gonna wreck my shit.
Yes, I'm obsessed with Greta Van Fleet, and what do you care?
I think I'll make this my entire identity.
That was not very Peaceful Army of you. If you don't like it, you can fuck off!
Hi everyone. Welcome back to another week of Podcast of the Peaceful Army with yours truly, Zoe, and
Your co-host, Lindsay.
what an eventful 2 weeks, man.
I feel as though they've been in Europe for an age now, and I want them back, but I'm happy that they're having fun over there.
They look like they're having so much fun and just doing a lot. There was no need for Jacob to lick his guitar, though. I'm just gonna
Oh
put
my
that out
god.
there.
We just need to get into that like immediately. There's no buffer space. We need to talk about Jake eating his guitar.
There's a lot to talk about, Jake, isn't there, Lindsay? Care to share about Jacob?
Oh! The cat's out of the bag, y'all. I have to come out. I'm a Jake girl now. Not that big of one, but like it's undeniable. It's undeniable. He's probably my cheat lane now. It's
Welcome.
It's exhausting being a Jake girl. So any Gresties out there who I didn't really get it until now. And you know what it wasn't? Was the playing the guitar with his tongue. What it was playing Bach. When I realized he was playing Bach.
Such a music nerd, and I love you.
That's really what did it for me. So anybody else out there who noticed that and kind of went crazy like I did, you're real for that.
I think you might be the only one, and that's even better.
He literally, he's so good at what he does. And it's just like, it's so lovely to see.
Yeah, it is. Speaking of the boys, this tour we have seen this leg of the tour, we've seen some new outfits. Sam is now sporting a vampire red. Dangerous.
So just like when I saw it, I was like, now wait a minute. Now wait a damn minute. Because I am not a Sammy girl, but I also get it. Not in the same way that now I am actively experiencing a Jake down, but now I understand to the extent that I didn't before. Like, that's good. What he's got going on right there, mwah.
Kisses. He's just killing it. Love Sam right now. Danny has a little purple cape. And a new tattoo. And his new tattoo is out.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk. I had to, because I got my own tattoo touched up last week. And I had to try so hard not to talk about my Greta tattoo or wanting a Greta tattoo. I talked about your Greta tattoo.
Wait, I don't think we've talked about that since last episode.
Have we? Yeah.
No,
you're Greta tatted now, and I'm jealous.
I am. But that's okay. We're going to get matching ones someday.
Exactly.
Very similar ones.
Exactly. And when I was laying there, I was like trying so hard not to be like, so I might get like this one or like, but then I'll get like Greta and then so Greta, but in Greta and I in Greta. But that's everybody.
It's so hard not to talk about them. It's really hard.
It's kind of impossible. So that's why we do this.
That's why we do this. It's mostly for us, but we're just glad people come to hang out with us too. So
exactly.
That's great. I'm gonna keep going on with the news. We got so many festivals. So many. And I'm so glad that they're like in varying places too. In different places even around the world. So I think that's awesome for a lot of fans who don't get to get them solo. You'll at least get the opportunity to see them festival. I know it's not great, but it's still something because I know a lot of fans miss out on them and missed out this European leg. So I think that'll be good. And do you mind if I get into some personal Greta news?
Please do.
Okay. Well, let me tell you a little story, right?
Please.
So one of our TikTok comments told me that we should read the book, The Alchemist, because one of the boys liked it, and I was like, huh, I've never seen that in an interview. But I did look up and I found that there was a tweet from 2018 with a quote from the book. And it's like them in the mountains, which is very them, of course.
Oh
And I
yeah.
was like, all right, I'll read this book. I'll see what it's about. It's only 200 pages. So I went to buy it on this past Saturday, so like a little over a week ago. Um, and I got it. And it's very small, as you can see,
Mm,
and a little bit of a book nerd, and I took little notes in it and everything.
love
Um,
that.
but there is a lot that is very reminiscent of Greta,
Mhm.
and something they talk about a lot is the alchemist's master works. I was
Yeah.
like, master, ooh, and there is an alchemist, and there's a lot about love in this book, which is obviously one of the biggest things on Josh's mind all the time and that he talks about at
Mhm.
shows. I thought that was really important. They also mention the Philosopher's Stone in this book a
Mhm.
ton. So that kind of ties into my theories from last week. If you didn't watch
Mhm.
that, go watch it. That's all about the art. Um, so check that one out. Um, yeah, so I read it kind of quickly. It's a really easy read, and if anybody hasn't read it and you're looking for a reason to, apparently the boys might like it. I don't know,
Mhm.
but it is actually a really good story about personal legends and pursuing your dreams. So I think it's a very good read.
That's very, very Greta coded.
Yeah, right?
I love
Ex-
that. I need to get it from my local library. Pick it up. Some
mhm.
people said it's like a high school like reading list kind of book,
Yeah,
which makes sense for the
that's what
boys.
I've heard. Yeah.
It makes sense that somebody had to read it, and then they were like, "Wait, this kind of slaps."
Wait a second, guys.
Wait a minute.
Um, so that was that. And I also want to just share that I had one of the best weekends of my life. It was recently my birthday. And we have two new items in my collection behind me, wherever my hands are. Um, I now have the signed insert. I
Crazy.
shat my pants when I got that. I cried like a baby. And I got the Live at Bridgeport. And if you watched episode 1, you'll remember that I really wanted to go to that show and didn't have the
Mhm.
chance to. So now I can just listen to it. So
So fun. It's so pretty. I'm so jealous. I want it so bad.
I think Chicago is your vibe, like the colors and everything.
Oh yeah. That one though, like Chicago and Bridgeport, like those two, either one, if I had one of those, I'd be like really happy. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, okay. Sorry. I know I was
Don't
talking
be
for a little
sorry.
bit.
No. No, we love it. We need the news from the front and the news on our fronts. And
Yeah.
you talked about the master, which I feel like is the most important thing about the analysis we're about to get into with these two songs.
Oh, we're getting into an analysis, are we?
A musical analysis, because this is for everybody who was like, they don't even listen to the music, like they're just obsessed with the boys and the art. Yeah, well, guess what, the reason why we got into the boys and the art is because of their freaking music, and it's beautiful and wonderful and incredible. So I wanted to, if I could take an entire episode and talk about every single song and literally like down to the note, I would. But I feel like it's more interesting for us to talk about like the ties between some of the songs in Battle at Garden's Gate into the songs and the story that's happening with Starcatcher, which
Yeah.
is the era now. I have a lot of different analyses, but I think that this one is the coolest for this moment, which is the connection between Trip the Light Fantastic and Meeting the Master. Spirituality meets musicality. So, okay, we have the all the lyrics out in front of us. If you are listening, I'm going to read the most important ones that we're kind of like talking about and digging into. And I personally, I love the poetry of a song, but also the music and the like actual notes are going to be important as well.
Of
But what they're
course.
talking about is very interesting and cool. And I had a conversation with another Gresty who went to my show about just like the spirituality that they're dealing with in this song is very neat and very cool. So yeah, Trip the Light Fantastic off of Battle Garden Skate. is kind of its own foyer for the boys and the like Greta brand into like specific kinds of religion because they've been dealing with like spirituality in general, but now they're using like mantras and chants and stuff and just talking about things in a very specific way, like Dharma Divine and Ram Jayam. And for me, I was like, oh wait, I've heard of that before. Because I kind of had my own little foyer into like extra religious, not Christian American religion at the beginning of COVID. And I was kind of like, wait, Josh and I are kind of on like the same vibe here. But before I get into that, basically, yeah, so like the music itself, Josh's voice is very much like kind of showing the vibe that it's all over the place. His voice is like tripping up and down. It's kind of showing you like what's happening. They're kind of being thrown around through time and space. I love the line carbon dancing through time because it reminds me of like carbon dating and the human experience of like seeing the past and like what has happened in like
Yeah.
the literal ground, but he's talking about it as if it's like a dance, and I think that's very beautiful. The chanting that happens with the boys is like a choir. I think that's really cool, and that happens more in Starcatcher as well. And
Does.
basically, it does, and it's so fun every time it happens. But basically, I think this song is just about the experience of discovering your own divinity, not necessarily the worship of like a singular deity. But they do get into a little bit of mantras from Hinduism. So from the Oxford Dictionary, Dharma, the line Dharma divine, that specific word is it says a fundamental concept referring to the order and custom which make life and a universe possible, and thus to the behaviors appropriate to the maintenance of that order.
Oh.
And what does that mean? It's hard to kind of wrap your brain around unless you have like a framework. Um, but I think it is connected to the concept of bhakti yoga. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that before, but they use those texts and mantras. And I'm going to get more into that with meeting the master. But you might have heard the lyric "Triple Light Fantastic" from the Mary Poppins reboot. There's a song called "Triple Little Light Fantastic." It literally means to dance. So like it's literally about like the human experience of dancing, and the music sounds like that. Like it sounds like, to me, "Triple Light Fantastic" sounds like highway tune but space. If that makes any
Triple
sense.
Light Fantastic makes you want to go run out in a field and dance very Sound of Music, like, you know? Like, I just want to
Yes.
be like dancing in the field and moving my arms all crazy and jumping and floating
Mhm.
and
Mhm. It reminds me of the little, antennas that I have, and that, like,
yeah,
that the guitar does, like, I just envision just, like, shooting up into space, and now you're, like, in the stars, and you're, like, floating around, like, that's what the song
jumping
feels
on
like to me.
clouds. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
He's literally like traversing octaves the entire time. And it's so like light and freeing. And I feel like that's how I feel about this like adventure into this next level of spirituality because they're dealing with a lot of deep concepts in the Battle of Gardens Gate. But now in this song, they're kind of saying, like, you know what? We don't have all the answers. And maybe some people have some answers, but there's really no, like, we're in the space between false and true. We're trying to, like, venture into a new spirituality, essentially. And Greta themselves has said Trip the Light Fantastic is about spiritualism on the highest level. It is a reminder that we are not bound to our earthly beings, which
It's
reminds me a lot
crazy.
of, it's so fun. It's like it reminds me a lot of Josh's meditation where
Mhm.
he talks about basically like astral projecting and like going outside of
Yeah.
yourself and seeing the world like healed because of energies essentially that like people are, you know, either ruled by like hate or love. And you're right, he does talk about love a lot.
Yeah,
um
I would also relate that to this here book, The Alchemist.
I
There's a lot about like the earth being connected by love and the falcon gets to eat because the planes let the falcon find food and blah, blah, like the cycle of nature and how everything works and love and just energy. That's a big theme, especially in the back half of the book.
I like that a lot. I like this like connection to spiritualism without necessarily having to tie it to a specific religion, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. And I do think this is probably me projecting a little bit, but at the same time, I do, being from the Midwest, have an idea of if the boys were raised religious, which we know they kind of were to a certain extent, um, because of the interview that Karen has with Melissa Hager. Um, what that what might have would have led to later in life, like if you really wanted to connect again to spiritualism, but not necessarily in like a Christian context, American Christian context, what would that look like? And that's also a tradition of rock music in general. I mean, like think the Beatles later in their career, they definitely had some connections to different spiritualities.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot going on in the song about like just like chanting and energies, and it's like, yeah, it's really cool. And then you connect it to meeting the master and it gets even fucking cooler because
Yeah.
this song is like truly, I think, my favorite. The Archer was over the summer. Like that was the it girl song of the summer for me. But now I'm back to meeting the master, and because it's just a fun story. So the inspiration for this one um comes from different places as well. I don't know if you've listened to, I think Josh had it on one of his stories at one point, but the melody is inspired specifically from Jethro Tull's song Reasons for Waiting, which is really nice. Honestly, I recommend everybody go listen to it when they don't want to, when they want to listen to Greta, but they can't like handle the like rockness of it. Cause sometimes that's me. Like I'm in my sad girl autumn right now and I'm like, I want to listen to Greta, but it's so like, and I want to be sad.
That's true. Wait, where did you see that they said it was the inspiration?
Yeah, I found that from Genius Lyrics, like the annotations at the bottom. They said this was like the inspiration. And it definitely is. Like when you go and listen to the song, the melody is very close to it, which I think is cool. But
Yeah.
I think also the inspiration, somebody I said source question mark, because somebody on TikTok had said that this Josh and the others had dedicated this song to their vocal coach, Ron Browning. Um,
Oh.
who Josh literally calls his guru. So that would make sense. I remember I said something about oh, I know what I was talking about. Okay. And this is when I started to really get into like, what is this song about? When Josh changed the lyric from he to she at my
Mhm.
show. And I
Yeah,
freaked the
at
fuck out. I was
both of the
like,
shows I went to too, she has
yeah,
been the only one.
she has been the only one. Oh my God, dude, that's so important to me. But then I was like, what is this song about? Who's the song about? Like, who's he? Who's she? Who is the master? And then somebody on TikTok was like, it's about his vocal coach. I was like, okay, but what if it's not?
Okay.
Like, let's expand our minds, people. Come on. I don't know why. This
Yeah.
is a side note that we should also talk about, maybe right here. I don't know why there are some people out there that are so worried and concerned with us doing our funny little analyses and theories. Because one, they're just theories. Two, it doesn't bother you. Like, I'm out here
Nope.
having fun. It is just for fun.
Also, right, think about this. You go into an art museum, there's a painting on the wall, and it's just a bunch of blocks and shapes and colors. 30 different people could walk by that painting and see a different meaning for it. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with music.
Yes.
We've had many comments in there that are nice that are like, I think Stardust chords is when they get into the gate. And we're like, that's cool. We've heard that theory before. Our personal opinion is that they didn't get into the garden. Like, it's just everyone has their own theories, has their own thoughts. We're not saying ours is the top tier, but we're trying to supply everyone with the knowledge that we know for sure of, as well as add on our funky little spice of our own
Mm-hmm.
thoughts and processes about how we think and hear this music. And for people to be like, you're wrong, or actually it's this, like, okay, like let's have a conversation instead of just fighting with each other about what it means, because I love having a conversation about it.
sometimes you will tell me a theory. I'll be like, "Ooh, I like that, but have you thought about it this way?" And it kind
Mhm.
of helps us not stay in an echo chamber
Yeah.
and go out into the universe to be wholly free and amongst the stars, you know?
Literally, like, we need to love. We need to, because we talk about this stuff because we love it. I don't know a single Gresty who doesn't talk like, there nobody is out here being like, hating this stuff and actually thinking about it the level to which this community does, you know what I mean? And if they are, I don't get that. Like, people who, feel the need to be like, "Oh, it's just music," or I don't know why, like, to separate themselves and to make themselves feel like high and mighty because they don't obsess the same way that like Agresti does. That's just sad to me. Like, I feel
But
sad
it's
for
even
those people.
sometimes it is the Gresties that are hating on other
Literally.
Gresties.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love all you guys, and I think everyone has tough times. I think people have bad days, and they maybe just are having a tough time and feel like they need to put their energy somewhere else, and it's not always positive. But our goal with this podcast is to provide a safe space for anybody out there who wants to be a little weird. And I'm not saying overstepping or like
Goofy.
doing anything crazy. I'm just saying, like, if
Peacefully
you
weird.
have peacefully weird, if you have friends and you can't shut the fuck up about Greta and they're like, you need to stop, come here.
This is where it
Literally,
is.
we love hearing from you guys. Like when somebody's like,
Mhm.
I just listened to your episode, like I'm a new fan and I'm really excited to get into this. Like I
Mhm.
explode and start crying. Like
It
I
makes me so happy because it reminds me of when, like, we met and we started talking about this shit 24/7. It's so
yeah,
fun. I was literally on a date today describing the connections between reading the master and Triple I Fantastic because I knew I was gonna
yeah,
need to, like, divulge all this stuff, and it's fun. I don't understand people who don't get enjoyment out of seeing other people talk about the things that they love because
I think
that's
it's so
so cool
fun.
to me. It's so fun. It's just for fun. And if you are having the cringe within your own self and you're needing to project it, I'm sorry, but we rebuke that in the name of Joshua Michael Kiska.
Mhm.
And you can fuck off, but also you can join us. You can join us. It's
Yep.
okay. It's all right. This is a place for weirdos who love things too much.
Yep. I do have to say, guys, too, um, if people are leaving negative comments on our stuff, we do our best to ignore them, but sometimes, like, we just gotta be like, "Hey, not cool, dude. Knock it off."
Delete.
You know?
Delete.
Like, it's it's really fun, and I know a lot of us have fun hating on the men that like that other certain band and
Uh-huh.
who get in our
Redacted.
comments. I had one come into my comments section, my very emotional birthday present video, and somebody commented, "Who cares?" And it's very easy to take that negative energy and be like, "Screw you, fuck you, whatever." But to
Mhm.
fight back, I said, "Me, obviously, because it's something
Obviously.
that is important to me and that I care about, and you coming on here and saying that things that make me happy aren't
Don't
enjoyable to
matter.
you, like, you don't have to be here."
No, not at all.
Sorry,
Not
that was my
at
rant.
all. I will fight those people. Literally.
You start being unpeaceful.
I'm gonna get unpeaceful back. Just kidding. I'm really good at just straight up deleting comments,
Yeah.
and I don't care. I don't
Yep.
care. Bye. Like, you don't need that energy. You put a lot of negative energy into that, and I'm just gonna go ahead and dissipate it. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Let's
so
jump
meeting the
back.
master. It's an interesting thing. Like, we aren't professionals at this, and it is
No.
interesting to now have a slight platform as small as it is, and then have people like negatively react to it. You're like, oh, but I just love. Like, all of this is literally all love. And to
All of
even
our
get like one
love.
or two people, yeah, exactly. It's all of our love. Don't go wasting your devotion. Lay all your love on us. And if you're not laying love on us, we'll delete it. So
Yeah. Sorry.
sorry.
Not
Sorry, not
sorry.
sorry. Exactly. Um, but yeah, so the chant from Triple Eight Fantastic, the Ramas, like, are taken from that and then also happen in the end of Meeting the Master. Um, at the very end during the bridge. Like, I'm taken by the madness and the stripping and the touching. Ram, 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 right? So like what the heck is that? Like what is that? Well, I'll tell you because I know everything. Just kidding. I don't. And I do need to preface this, like I am not a professional
Y-
understander or professor of the Hindu faith, nor of Kirtan and Bhakti yoga in general. I did do a little bit of research into Bhakti yoga at the beginning of COVID when I really needed to like find spirituality for myself that was not evangelical. No hate to, no hate to peaceful Christians, but like I needed something that was not connected to like just like harmful rhetoric. Anyway, so Bhakti yoga is basically it uses the Vedic texts of Hinduism, like holy texts from the Hindu religion, and it basically is like 9 different practices of spirituality. There's different like paths, spiritual paths essentially. And one of them is kirtan, which Josh has talked about. Um, he has shared a couple kirtan songs and has talked about basically just like kirtana in general. The principle of kirtan is one of those paths. And that is the musical path. And basically what it is it's taking mantras and chants from those texts and you literally just are singing them in as like a rote repeating like musical chant essentially. And it's supposed to connect you to divinity. It's supposed to like quiet your mind and just like center your energy, right? And it's very peaceful. It's very calming. You have a person chanting it out and you're repeating it back to them. um and that's why Ram is repeated so many times. But the chant Sri Ram Jayam is, so I'll just read what I have written. The Shri means auspicious and is used as an honorific title. Um, the Ram or Rama is the avatar of Vishnu, or just like the Lord Rama in general, the Lord of the universe. Um, Rama's story is in the Ramayana, which is one of the like story or books. And he's known for his compassion and courage. And Jaya is victory. It's like a emphatic "Hooray, God! Yes, God!" or like a hallelujah kind of thing. And I took this quote from Bhakti for breakfast.com. Breakfast Bhakti for breakfast.com, I think. Something. Oh no, bhaktibreakfastclub.com. Yes. I should have cited my sources physically on here, so I did.
It's
But
okay.
I'm trying to be less academic, more less professory, and more just like I'm a dork and I love the shit.
I'm a dork.
I am. That is what I am, first and foremost. So this guru or this person who practices bhakti yoga, Krishna Das, this is a quote from them. So Sri Ram Jayam Ram is the song slash mantra that Hanuman, a friend of the god Rama, also a god, I think. I don't know the pantheon super well. Is always singing. Rama is the name that these like characters always have like on their lips, right? It is the mantra that purifies the heart and bestows devotion to God. So that makes sense within the context of meeting the master, um, where they're talking about like finally meeting this like deity. This devotion is manifesting in a very like significant way by the end of the song. Blow it up to give her all of our love. Like it's so like serious at this point that now this like love and devotion is manifesting as uh rain coming down, a religious experience, almost like psychedelic experience in the music video, which I had an experience myself watching that scene. That music video is very like the scenes that are cutting really fast in and out, and just like all of the imagery, the way that it like the colors, and it's just I like that music video a lot. I think we'll probably save that for its own like
Oh,
conversation, but
I kind of did want to talk about something in the music video that
okay, get
I
into it.
um so you know at in the music video
Mhm.
how Jake is sitting under a tree.
Mhm.
Guess where I'm gonna spoil the book. I'm sorry, guys. It's gonna happen. Guess where the treasure is found in the book?
Now
Under a
wait a
tree.
damn minute.
Under a big
Now wait
tree.
a damn minute. Hey, can you tell them about the character that you learned about, the archer character in, the Hindu story that you read?
Oh, yeah. We're
Yeah,
jumping. Everybody
we're
get ready
jumping.
for our
You know,
ADHD.
that's fine. It's okay. My slides, I made them, like, maybe an hour ago, and my thought process is everywhere, so sorry,
That's
everyone.
okay.
This is not the most organized episode, but whatever.
No, this is what you get when you ask us to do musical analysis because we have like real, lyrical, and historical and everything. So get ready. Um, so we're gonna talk about Rama,
Yes.
who we've mentioned the chant and all of that. Ram, obviously. Um, I'm reading directly from my phone from Wikipedia, which I know isn't a valid source, but it summarizes everything
Yeah,
perfectly.
yeah,
So, um, Rama is a major deity.
deity.
Okay, I don't know why I have such a hard time pronouncing words, guys, and you're gonna have to get used to it because I'm gonna have a hard time with some of these words. He's a major deity in Hinduism. He is the seventh and one of the most popular avatars of Vishnu. In Rama centric traditions of Hinduism, he is considered the supreme being. Okay. Obviously, there's a lot there, right? Um, Rama is the ideal man. He is the embodiment of Dharma, which ties into Dharma Divine and Triple Light
Mhm.
Fantastic and all of that. But also, you want to know what his preferred weapon of choice is?
What is it, Zoe?
It's a bow and arrow, and
Mm,
it's a magical one that like
mhm.
never runs out of arrows, which is so sick. First of all,
That is pretty cool.
um, so his kind of backstory, and I did like maybe 3 hours worth of research with this. I watched a crash course, so you can go find the crash course on it if you want to learn his whole backstory. It's actually really good. Um, but basically, I think he was a prince and he was supposed to become king, and then his other brother got chosen to be king instead, and so Rama got sent off and banished. And him and Sita and his other brother, I believe, went on like their own little adventure, fought in battles. He like really proved himself and always did the right thing like, in terms of, like, dharma and what, like, needed to be done. Um, so I thought that was, like, really cool, like, adventurous story, and he's an archer, all of that stuff. But yeah, I think obviously it ties in a lot with the story, with,
Mhm,
Archer, Rama, Dharma, all of that.
mhm.
Um, is there anything I'm missing that I told you about?
I don't think so, but it makes me wonder, like, how much really this, like, religious not necessarily jargon or but just, like, the stories, how much are they an inspiration and how much are these characters, like, taken from, like, this mythology, you know what I mean? Or is it
Mhm.
just, like, an inspiration for their characters? Or is the master the archer? Are they, like, the same character?
Or is the master an alchemist? Or is the master the philosopher's stone and doing the
Mhm,
master work?
mhm,
There's so many things that could be considered the master. It could
mhm,
be a physical human, like person or a spirit or something like
mhm,
that. Like it could be a person, or it could be an idea. Could it be your
mhm,
personal legend reaching your dream? Like the master is
mhm,
you completing your personal legend, getting to the stage, all of that.
mhm.
This is what I'm saying, guys, when I mean you can look at music and see 30 different interpretations of
Mhm,
it.
mhm. And the guitar, the psychedelic guitar riffs in Meeting the Master, like, that really to me sets up the idea that this experience that whatever character I think is Josh's character, I don't know what kind of character he's playing, but I think that Meeting the Master is from his perspective. It sets up to me that, like, this is next level spirituality, whether it's influenced by, like, a trip, like the tripping and the touching, Trip the Light Fantastic,
Mhm.
or if they are singing this as they are, like, ascending to the next life, you know what I mean? Like, it
Yep.
feels very much that way where it's like, this is grounded in something, like, extraterrestrial almost, and
Yeah,
I
definitely.
and I like that Josh, like, he really I feel like he's the one that is always talking about spirituality in that way. And I liked what he said in the Grammy interview. People kind of laughed him off a little bit, and he was kind of being goofy the entire time. So like makes sense. But when she asked the last question, she said, "What was the most rewarding part of what you do?" He first of all obviously interrupted Jake. And he said, "Seeing the face of God." And I was like, "Yes, absolutely." And then everybody laughed, and I was like, "No, because that's like literally what performing music and making music is, at least to me." So he went on to say, there's no description to how being on stage feels. You're kind of trusting that something is coming from some higher place and streaming through you, flowing through you, and you're trying to channel it. There's also this huge communicative thing that's happening with an audience where you do something, you see a reaction, and it gives you back that energy. And to me, at this point in my own like life in general, when it comes to spirituality, it really is all about energy. I agree with him on that, of just like, we don't know what it, some people would say they have an idea of what happens after you leave this like plane, right? But
Mhm.
it's evident to me at least that energy is a huge thing in between people, and the energy of love and the energy of like how you hold your spirit and your presence. Like I fully am on board with him on that, and just how like, I don't know, it seems to me that music is that energy, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like this, it's
I
a way to connect to that spirituality between people.
I agree, but I feel like it is the music, but the music is a branch of love.
Yeah.
Like, the boys are giving their love to
Mhm.
us, their fans, through their music, and we are giving it back to them by cheering them,
Mhm.
doing all of it. It's just a flow of love, and I
Yeah.
think that has obviously been ew, throat sound, ew. That has obviously been something that's been really important to Josh
Mhm.
because a lot of his speeches that he has on stage relate to love. A lot of the music relates to love, Light My Love, like all these things. I
Mhm.
feel like the biggest spiritual connection that is made clear between us and them and their music is love.
Mhm.
Like, as much as we love them giving us their music and their like spiritual energy, that's
Mhm.
them giving their love to us.
Absolutely. And to each other, like that, I think that's why they have done as well as they have, because they have that like rapport between each other, and they have enough love for each other where it's like this creative energy is just like contagious in between them.
Yeah.
They create it, give it out, it comes back, and it's just like this beautiful, like, it's just like so, I don't know. I love that music can do that for people, and I especially love that Greta is doing it the way that they are, because this brand of just like musicality is very, very, it's yummy to me, because they do also like the riffs that they're playing. I love how Jake slides in on the acoustic for the intro to Meeting the Master,
Mhm.
because to me it feels very, well, first of all, when I hear it, I think oranges. And it feels like a setting sun because of how his riff is like sliding into place. It's very
Have we talked about how you can do that?
synesthesia.
I don't
No,
did we talk about that?
I don't think we've talked about
Because you were like,
synesthesia.
"I
No,
see oranges," and I'm like, "The fruit?"
no. It feels, and I don't know what key it's in. A lot of the chord progressions, like specific to keys and to specific to like chords, will be specific colors for a lot of people with synesthesia. But yeah, I don't know. No, I don't think we have talked about that in general. It's also hard to pick one color for like one song, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
'Cause
because there's so
it's
many different sounds in a
there's so
song, so
much happening, but it's a very soft. Jake is usually pretty hard, like on the electric guitar. Like his riffs are very like intense and driving, and Meeting the Masters feels very soft to me,
yeah.
until the end when everything is blow up to give him all of our love. And it's very driving with the bass jumping around, and it's like intensified by the fact that you when you think about the music video, he's literally just like eyes rolling back like in a trance almost. It's very guttural and very human in the most soft and beautiful and lyrical way. It's just a
It's
beautiful
giving
song.
being abducted by aliens.
Yeah. And being so open to it. Like there's a Phoebe lyric, Phoebe Bridgers, where she's singing about like wanting to go home and like be abducted by aliens essentially, where she's just like, I want a satellite to take me away. I don't feel like I'm home on Earth. I want to be taken away and feel at home because I feel so different and other. And to me, the song is the same but opposite, where it's like I feel so at home in who I am and what I'm worshiping and how I exist that like I'm so overtaken by it and I'm so mesmerized by the love and the energy and just like that's how I feel at concerts. Like that is my worship is concerts.
Yeah, I get that.
I love it so
Um, something else, if I may add, the end of the book. I'm gonna show you a little picture from the book.
Okay. Who dat?
That is our main character.
Okay.
And that is at a part where he has to turn himself into the wind. So he has to talk to the nature around him, and he's telling them the story about love and trying to convince them to turn him into wind for a mission he has to accomplish. And
Aw.
that ending of Meeting the Master really gives me the same vibe in a way. I don't know, like it's a lot about love and the soul of the world and all of that, and I feel like this ending really ties into Meeting the Master. I don't know. It felt like sharing. Again,
Yeah.
sorry that I'm oversharing this book, but I do
No way.
highly recommend it.
You could never overshare tangential Greta lore.
Thanks.
You're so welcome. So I think that's pretty much all I had on that one. But if y'all have any other things about Greta spirituality and how they relate to just like human religions and like connected to their own kind of religion they're making. I mean, we talk about the cult that we join that they have like all the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you guys have, if we missed anything and that you think is very important, please let us know because I know people feel very, very seriously about this. Like I've had several conversations with people just about Greta and spirituality. Like they're very
Yeah.
much connected to me.
Yeah, guys, please leave comments. Like,
Please.
even if you don't have a theory or you just thought something was interesting, let us know so we know for like future episodes.
Yeah.
If you made it this far in this
Oh, yeah.
episode. I know we talk for a long time, but
As we should.
yeah, any feedback, we're usually pretty good about answering Instagram DMs.
Mhm.
We try our best to help people out with questions that they have. We'll usually post a lot of our theories and stuff on there. Like I did a story highlight recently with all the symbols, so you can go refer back to that if you want a quick analysis and you don't want to have to jump through our long ass podcast. But if you want to follow us on Instagram, it's Peaceful Army Podcast. So you can find us there. And then on TikTok, we are Peaceful Army Pod.
Good job.
Got it this time.
You got it. Oh my god, you talking about the symbols reminded me of something because we don't know what the heck the symbol for Triple I Fantastic is, but it's about dancing. So like, what if it was a little guy just dancing? What if he's just dancing? What if it's a little guy and he's like, he's dancing?
Yeah. He
I
did
don't know.
dancing, you know.
Maybe. If you're just listening, I just made a fool of myself and did like a crab walk.
He does look kind of crabby if it is a person.
It does. It does.
I just want to share really quick.
CDs.
I got the CD for Battle at Garden Skate, and it has a mini
Cute.
booklet.
Cute.
So I was also staring at
All
Triple
the
I
symbols.
Fantastic.
I love that. That's so cool.
And I'm like, I'm angling it different ways. Like, I'm like, maybe it's upside down and we're looking at it wrong. But if you have any theories on what this symbol means, or maybe you have a special meaning that you've interpreted it as, let us know. Because
actually, Zoe, we know what it is. It's a dancing crab man. So
it's dancing crab man. It's Jonch dancing.
That's literally Jonch. So
guys, you don't get it. It's Jonch.
It is. It's him.
All right, guys. Well, since you wanted the musical analysis, we gave you the musical analysis. Do you want something next week specific or in 2 weeks? Let us know. Leave a comment, leave a
Tell
like,
us.
subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Tell us what you want. We're your humble Gresty hosts. So come Gresty all over us, and we'll Gresty all over you.
Ew. Ew.
Yeah, gross. Give
Well,
us
this
all
is a
of your love.
all of your love. Whoa.
Okay, Kermit.
Okay, guys, this is when the unhinged part happens in the last minute where we don't know how to wrap it up, so we just keep
Exactly.
saying
How do you
weird
even say
shit back to each
bye?
other.
We go on like this
Um,
too. After we hit end, we just keep talking shit.
yep. So if you guys don't want this party to end either, hop over to our socials, hang out with us, talk with us. As long as you're cool and peaceful and you're willing to have conversations, we're cool.
Mhm.
Um, we will see you in 2 weeks for the next episode. If you have any ideas or any questions or things you want us to address, leave a comment here, DM us on Instagram, anything you want.
It
And
sorry, not to just drag this out. It may be an analysis connecting Age of Man and Age of Machine.
if you have any thoughts on that, leave a comment below.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment.
Mhm.
Okay, guys, thank you for hanging out with us. We promise this is our last time peacing out, but we'll see you soon. We love you. We hope you're having a fabulous time, and if you're going to any of the shows in Europe, be safe, enjoy yourselves, and
See
bye.
you next. Bye.